lost last night. I was
For the Fox
pretty
10 weather
pissed about
experts,
that.
I'm meteorologist Crystal Ortiz.
This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Brighten your plate with refreshing organic.
The Aces had a bad start to their fourth quarter, so they got down like 8 points.
Per pound with Prime through October 3rd. Take it on the go for a hearty snack to bite into. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Monday from 10 to 1. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD2 Phoenix, an iHeart radio station.
In Evanston. Number 22, Florida down big at halftime against Kentucky and Lexington, 23-7 in favor of the Wildcats. Also have Texas A&M on top of Arkansas, 20-13, just underway in the third quarter. And at halftime at the Dome in upstate New York, Clemson leading Syracuse 21-7. In the NFL, Browns tight end David Njoku questionable to play tomorrow because of burn injuries he sustained at home Friday night trying to light a fire pit. And at the Ryder Cup, Europe leads the U.S. 10.5 to 5.5.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
Our Saturday looking hot. We've got an excessive heat warning in effect with a forecast high of 113 degrees. That'll set a new record for heat on the day and a mostly sunny sky. Then at night, falling to an overnight low of 87 degrees. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm meteorologist Crystal Ortiz.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
Brighten your plate with refreshing organics at Whole Foods Market. Get organic Honeycrisp apples for $3.29 per pound with Prime through October 3rd. Take it on the go for a hearty snack to bite into. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Time for Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeart Radio app.
Welcome in. Mike Gross, Jackson Groff, Mike Bauer. We're coming to you from the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 in McKellips. If you're out and about, come on out, say hello, have some breakfast. We just enjoyed the breakfast burritos and ready to take you up to 1 o'clock. Jackson, good to have you back, my friend. How are you?
It feels good to be back. Mike Gross, excited to talk about all things football going on today. D-backs, are they going to win tonight or are they not going to win? Dyer, if they win, they're in. They lose, then it's up to certain scenarios. But what I hated, Gross, before we continue on, is a reporter asked, I think it was Zach Gallen or Chris Walker last night. They said, would you rather go in to the wild card like with a win, knowing that you're in, or would you rather have it be a scenario where it falls into your lap? And Christian Walker probably gave him the most confusing look, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Win and you're in, that's simple. But again, the Astros, who are also trying to win tonight as well.
Dude, Major League Baseball, I mean, and it's easy to criticize a lot of the things that have gone on with Major League Baseball, but they have fell into it in terms of the matchups this weekend for teams that are still in it. You know, you do the whole scenario with the Diamondbacks playing the Astros, the Rangers, and the Mariners, the Cubs, whatever the Cubs are doing. My goodness. What a historic collapse by the Chicago Cubs. But just, you know, the caliber of games that they've got to ride out the final two. You know, pre-wild card, you've got the Dodgers up by, 15 games right now, you know, boring. So to have these games that matter, I think is very, very cool. And it's great, finally, first time since 2017 that we're talking, I don't want to say playoffs. Let's say potential playoffs for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've got game 2 of that 3-game weekend set with the Astros coming up later on. And we'll talk about that more in the show later on, Jackson. But I asked you a question as we were setting up, getting ready to go on air. If you had a do-over, if you were in charge and you could swap out Jonathan Gannon and Sean Payton, put Jonathan Gannon on the Broncos, put Sean Payton, because he came here, whether or not he was ever serious about it, he came here. He's a ball boy for the Cardinals, apparently, so that was why he came in. Would you give up 3 picks and take the results you've got in Sean Payton if you were the Arizona Cardinals right now?
No, because of I like the couple years or so. he might just bounce and go back to broadcasting. We've seen that with certain coaches or coaches that go into the NFL and go back to college within a couple of years. So it's tough to tell. Obviously, it's early. It's 3 weeks into the season, week 4, progressing tomorrow. But I like what Gannon's doing right now. I've said it on the show. We've said it on the show multiple times in the offseason. It's not only him changing the roster, changing the team, but it's a culture change. Don't come to the meeting 30 seconds late, or you're going to get a fine, or you're going to run, or don't wear jewelry. Wear Cardinals gear in the locker room, in the facilities, represent this team.
Yep.
And because of it, you're already seeing Kyler Murray with the maturity. And now, does that factor in of Caleb Williams discussions? Maybe. But I like what we saw, him posting on Twitter, how are we feeling, him all jacked up about a win. Yep. You can tell that he wants to get in and play. It's just a matter of when that's going to be. And he's cleared to play.
Called off the pub
next week, but we'll see if he's played next week.
Now, I would imagine he's still a bit away. There's a difference between being able to practice and being ready to play, game ready in the National Football League. Meanwhile, the other side of that equation last Sunday, the Miami Dolphins, we knew they were good, but they dropped 70 points on the Denver Broncos. 14 in the first quarter, 21 in the second quarter, 14, and then another 21 in the fourth, and they didn't kick a field goal that would have set the NFL record. So in case you're a Broncos fan and you got hashtag cryface, you're out there wondering why did they run up to score on us?
Mike Gross, I'll throw it back to you then with this question. Would you rather have Nick Rallis or Vance Joseph? Because, man, Vance Joseph, how do you let that happen?
I get it, but look, I take it, and it is a bad look, and this is not a defense of Vance Joseph, but at some point, whether it's an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, the buck stops with the head coach. If you see this, you can step in and you can start calling the defenses at halftime. I mean, you're down 35-13 at the half. Step in if you got a problem with it. So, Vance Joseph, bad look, not defending him. But the buck stops with the head coach. The head coach that came in, you gave up 3 draft picks for him. The head coach that, oh, by the way, on the way in the door, he's piling on the ex-coach, which is unheard of. You don't do that. So if you're willing to take those shots and you want to be the man like that, step up and you take control of your team.
And then on the other side of it, you've got to give credit to Mike McDaniel, early candidate for Coach of the Year. What he's done in year 2 to flip Tua around, where Brian Flores, it came to the time where people were criticizing Tua Tagovailoa. If he could be a quarterback in this league, if he could stay healthy, and what he's done to not only keep himself protective, but everyone knows on that field that Tyreek Hill is getting the football. Everyone knows that, hey, Tyreek Hill is the guy we got to double team. The different types of motions. Motions in the NFL are usually in any kind of football are from outside in. He's going inside out. I love what he's doing with this offense, and we're going to talk about this game later on. Dolphins, Bills. You want to talk about a team with the Bills that have caught fire recently, too. They're favored by 2.5. Going to be an interesting game. Kicks off tomorrow at 10 a.m.
3 undefeated teams in the National Football League, the Dolphins, the 49ers, and the Eagles. And then on the other end of that equation, Jackson, winless teams in the league, the Panthers, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Broncos. Woo. A game that's being played tomorrow that we won't talk about unless we absolutely have to. The Broncos and the Bears, they play tomorrow in Chicago. The Denver Broncos, according to the lines here at the CAZ Sportsbook, Broncos 2.5-point favorites. The point total on that one is 46.5. And, it's that old thing that you see on Twitter, hold my beer. When you talk about how things are going bad, you see what's happening in Denver, and Chicago fan is like, hold my beer, because the vibe coming out of the Bears team is not good. And this was a year they were supposed to turn it around. People remember they got the number 1 draft pick last year. They made a brilliant move trading out of that, acquired draft picks, and this was supposed to be put the players in and around their quarterback. And it's just not working out right now.
And it all started a couple weeks ago when, reporters asked Justin Fields what's going on with this team. He said, I feel like it's coaching. That next week, he looked lost, didn't read coverages, was not going through his progressions, running into sacks. And then you got DJ Moore coming out saying that they're not using me the way that I want to be used. You got Chase Claypool saying the same thing as well, which Chase Claypool, relax, you're 3rd, 4th wide receiver in this depth chart. But when it came in the offseason, everyone was talking about how impressive Justin Fields was going to be and him being an MVP-type candidate. Yeah. We talked about it on the show. Even Mike Bauer was saying, Justin Fields is going to be the top guy this year. Watch out for the Bears. Now there's discussions of them being, okay, let's tank and get Caleb Williams. But if I'm Caleb Williams, tell me if I'm wrong, Gross. Would you rather go to – his dad saying that he might stay one more year. I think Arizona is a way better destination. Obviously, they're not going to tank. Well, we'll see. Then Chicago right now with a coach that we're questions of, with the defense they look better, but we've got some question marks there on defense.
Sure.
And then this offense, what are we doing? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks, and I don't really feel what Chicago's doing right now.
I don't either. And just to close the loop here, we talked about Broncos giving up 70 points. The 0-3 teams, the point differential, just looking at the Bears and the Broncos. The Broncos are a minus 53 after giving up 70 last week, Jackson. The Bears, hold my beer, minus 59 through 3 games already. So to your point, it's not just a single thing you can point to with the Chicago Bears. We'll get into lots of NFL, of course, throughout the course of the show. But setting the guest lineup, just one today. There's so much to talk about. We didn't want to clutter it up with guests, but we do each and every week. We have Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com. He's coming up in about 20 minutes or so. He missed you last week, Jackson. I got an email from his agent, and he's like, that introduction that Bauer and Gross tried to do in Jackson's absence was pathetic. So
I won't happen again, Marco.
I was happy that Marco stayed and did his segment, but he was not happy that you were out. So you're back. He's happy about that. And we will do our picks at the very end of the show. Casey from the Sportsbook will join us. But here's the thing. Our guy back in the studio, our technical producer, Richie, back in the studio. He keeps us on the air, tells us when to go to breaks, make sure he plays the commercials. But here's the thing. We do our lock of the week. Richie's on fire, WNBA picks. On absolute fire. I'm holding a ticket in my hand. What's Marco always say?
Cash the tickets.
Thanks to Richie, I'm getting ready to do that on a WNBA game. Casey hooked me up, found the line that Richie recommended. Richie is part of our pick segment at the end. And,
Let's go.
He has
to know.
Should. He has to know there is a lot of pressure on him to keep this straight going. Speaking of pressure, our guy Ryan Cirk, our national champion, sends in his EPL pick of the week. He's on a little bit of a skid here, but like any good professional, he keeps plugging away and sending in those picks. And so he said, look, he's not doing a premier game today, not doing a premier game tomorrow. He's holding off. They got apparently they have Monday Night Football in the EPL. His pick is Chelsea versus Fulham. He doesn't have a lot of faith in Chelsea these days, so he's going with Fulham to win or tie at minus 140. That's our EPL pick of the week, brought to you by our national champion, Ryan Cirk. We do it every weekend here on the show.
We also, Gross, it's September 30th, the last day of September. Did you ever think that we'd be talking basketball on September 30th with what happened earlier this week? And the odds changes with the Bucks. Now the odds-on favorite to win the NBA Finals after that Damian Lillard trade.
Crazy trade. Look, you knew there was, Damian Lillard wanted out of Portland. That was a given. You kind of felt beneath the surface. I don't care what Frank Vogel was saying, that there was always that possibility that DeAndre Ayton was going to get moved. But the trade that came down was mind-blowing. We'll do a deep dive into that. You broke it down. Some people make some serious money because Damian Lillard going to the Bucks. I think everybody thought it was going to be South Beach for him, right? And obviously that's not the case. So we'll talk about that and the implications of the trade coming up on the show. We'll step aside here, though, take our first break. When we come back, our first look at the college football scoreboard. Most of these scores, there's some interesting ones going on. That's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Take clear points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona.
I think I have a pick circled. I think I know what I'm going to do.
Free iHeartRadio app. It will be a battle of the trenches when the Commanders head to
Said I got to get back. I can get back on track after last night's loss.
Tomorrow at 9:30 on Fox Sports 910. Presented by HornCars.com. That's HORNE Cars.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets, and your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with bourbon and late-night bites? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by to say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your casino, Arizona.
You may not have any experience dealing with car wrecks, but Lerner and Rowe does. After your car wreck, you need an attorney to make sure your interests, like car repairs, medical bills, and lost wages, are protected. Finding the right attorney is actually easy. Just look for reputation, experience, and results. Lerner and Rowe has thousands of 5-star reviews, decades of experience, and we've recovered billions of dollars for our injured clients. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? Call Lerner and Rowe today.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
See your Valley Chevy dealers today during Chevy's truck season. Every truck has a story. Make yours a strong one. It's Chevy truck season. See your Valley Chevy dealers today.
Come chill and get your fill at Arena Sports Grill. Arena Sports Grill is your home for Nebraska Cornhusker football and the National Football League. Watch all your favorite sports, plus off-track wagering with the ponies. Arena even caters to the night owls with breakfast on the weekends till 2. NFL Mondays and Thursdays are packed with happy hour specials daily till 7 and other incredible drink and food specials. It's Arena Sports Grill, 64th Street in Bell, North Scottsdale's friendly sports bar since 1998.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sport? Look no further. BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Find the brands, inspiration, and great value you need to own your style at Macy's VIP sale. Going on now. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off fall trends and updates. Plus 15% off go-to beauty, skincare, and fragrances. Plus shop specials and find great deals on top brands at Macy's VIP sale. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Barbecue tip number 5 from Roland Dickey. His father taught him that in order for ribs to be tender, they gotta pass the break test. Pick them up with tongs, and if they begin to break at the bend, they're ready to serve. Nothing goes better with football than a big yellow box of Dickey's smoky fall off the bone ribs. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE. Dibs on the ribs.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
You're live.
Welcome back in. Mike Bauer, Mike Gross, Jackson Groff coming to you from the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 in McKelp's. Pro tip, though, if you're headed out, get out of McDowell. I actually did the right thing today, fellas. I was proud of myself. Paid attention, followed the signs, and didn't have to curse at anybody on the way in.
Hey, some serious construction on McKellips.
Lots of it, ongoing.
Like digging up the whole road.
A handful of early games involving top 25 teams. We'll take a look at the scoreboard now and tell you how these games are shaking up according to the numbers that we had early. Interesting one in Chicago, Evanston, I guess, technically. Penn State.
That's where I was
They
born.
were tied 10-10 to the mighty Northwestern Wildcats.
That's right.
Going through a heck of an offseason.
I think the over-under on the season wins was like 2.5 for the Wildcats, or maybe 1.5.
Penn State has kind of righted the ship a bit. in this early second half, but they were 27.5-point favorites in this one, Jackson. And the over-under sat at 48.5. We're at 30 right now. Interesting. Anyways, maybe a hangover for Penn State after the whiteout game. I don't know.
Yeah, I reflect the last year. I remember when Ohio State on the road, they went to Northwestern. They had a tough time. I mean, C.J. Stroud had a tough time in that place. It's a weird place to play. Almost approaching October, maybe looking ahead of some games for Penn State, maybe looking past Northwestern. But they got the lead right now up 20-10. They're starting to get things clicking. But, yeah, I mean, Northwestern, kind of shocking.
Why is it a weird place to play?
It's for like
I grew up going to games in that stadium. It's not intimidating.
For highly ranked teams that look past teams like Northwestern, like even last year with Ohio State, it was kind of the same thing where their quarterback, C.J. Stroud, last year struggled. Drew Aller's struggling right now. It's just weird vibes. Weird vibes coming over from Northwestern.
I was going to say, because it's definitely not an intimidating
crowd
not at Dyke Stadium or whatever they're calling it now.
Bauer, meanwhile, in Boulder, Fox TV getting USC ready for those early Big Ten kickoffs that they're going to have a year from now. They are about 11 minutes to go, quarter number 3. USC is up 34-14. And I was telling Jackson before the show, I love USC offensively, but I hate my USC pick. We did our picks for the college football playoff. Their defense is no better this year than it was a year ago. It shouldn't be. It's 34-14. Watching the game, it shouldn't be this close.
And I was right there with you. I had USC. Jackson did not have USC in the college football playoff. And, if you look at it, Drew Pine looked good last week in Tempe against this USC defense. And I'm surprised Shedeur Sanders doesn't look better than he has so far. But, hey, you're talking about a team that went in. It was 22 ballpark. I saw some 21.5. I saw a 22.5. But Colorado was getting a whole heap of points right now. And technically, right now, just barely covering. They're down 20, 34-14. Caleb Williams, 18 for 21, 266 yards. Yeah. And not one, not two, not three, 4 touchdowns already.
Well, Bauer, your Heisman pick's looking pretty good with Caleb Williams if you can continue to do what he's doing so far.
I did take chalk.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, Michael Penix is the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman, so you're kind of getting more plus money than you did before the season.
Oh, maybe I should double down. Maybe I should get in on.
Meanwhile, in Lexington, Kentucky, the unranked team,
the other Wildcats,
the Kentucky Wildcats, are beating the Florida Gators 30-14. And I don't know how easy it is to take individual player props in college football, but my goodness,
it's not.
It's not. Ray Davis, have yourself a day, young man. He's rewriting the Kentucky record books, I'm guessing. 17 carries, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, and there's still 7 minutes to go in the third quarter.
And he's got a receiving touchdown as well. So 4 touchdowns, all 4 going to Mr. Davis.
Florida defense, where have you gone? And I expect that if this score holds, Kentucky will find themselves ranked and likely Florida on the way out. Kentucky was a 1-point favorite in that one, guys, and they are already at the total. The total on that one was 44.5. So the next score puts you over on that one. That's a look at some of the early games involving ranked teams. An interesting set of games coming up at 12:30 Arizona time. Top of the list has got to be Kansas and Texas, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
I've told the story so many times when Jeff Dean, Big Jeff and I used to do this show back in another format, maybe at another station.
Probably.
But we would go in, we were in sports bars at the time, great partners that we had, and we'd roll in, get set up, and they'd turn the TVs on for us, and we would start our show. We had a 10 o'clock start on that show, and the segment would start with, or the show would start with, who's Kansas losing to today? And you never had to worry about, you didn't have to look, you didn't have to, because they were losing. And they always played the early games, and it was always on a random ESPNU or buried someplace like that. All of a sudden, Kansas is 24th ranked, undefeated, playing in Austin today, a top 25 football team, which to me is remarkable. But I like my Heisman pick, the quarterback for the undefeated Texas Longhorns, as obviously they're happy for and proud of their running back who's getting it done in the NFL. But this Texas team might be built for the future here.
Yeah, and it's another test for him. Last week I was, on the road at Baylor. Baylor, not so great team, but a hostile environment. I was impressed with what they did against Baylor last week. We'll see what they can do here. Favored 15.5 against Kansas, but a lot of credit to Lance Leopold, who's the odds-on favorite right now for the Michigan State job. 4-0 back-to-back years. Him, Mike Elko, Pat Narduzzi, just some couple names for that Michigan State job. But got to give a lot of credit to Kansas. Jalen Daniels is balling too. It's not going to be an easy game for Texas, but a good test for them here at 12:30.
Last year it was 55-14 in Lawrence. This year I believe it's not in Lawrence.
The year before that in Texas, Kansas did upset Texas.
That was a couple years ago, but last year 55-14 in Kansas's backyard. It switches to Texas this year. I might like that 15.5, 16.5 for Texas to cover.
Real quickly before we get to Marco D'Angelo, we'll take a look at the Arizona teams. Bauer, start with you. ASU at Cal, first road game of the year for the Devils. I'm a little surprised. This number is higher than I expected it. Not saying that ASU is great, but I don't think Cal is that good. 13-point favorites are the Golden Bears when it kicks off just after noon local time on the Pac-12 network. Over-under sits at 47.5.
Yeah, I mean, the Sun Devils coming off of a, I guess, good loss, right? You only lost by 14 to USC last week. They were close. They were within 7 in the fourth quarter, and the Golden Bears absolutely got throttled by Washington at 59-32 last week. So interesting. These early games are always a kind of a weird thing for the Sun Devils early in the season because they're so used to playing at home, playing late games. This is the first road game for the Sun Devils, and Kenny Dillingham, first time going on the road.
Jackson, real quick before we get out of here, your Wildcats, 19-point underdogs at home, 66.5 is the total. The Washington Huskies in town. Arizona won last week, but not convincingly. They didn't cover that double-digit number that they were favored by, and now they've got injury questions at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, not only their quarterback, but their starting running back, Wiley. Both, what Jed Fish said earlier this week, they're going to kind of take the Joe Burrow approach, have them both work out this morning and see how they play. But Washington has always had trouble in the desert, losing to ASU last year, and they lost to Arizona the year before that at Arizona. So we'll see here. But again, Michael Penix Jr. is looking phenomenal right now, 19 points. I'd probably look to Washington to cover.
All right, we're going to step aside here, take care of some business. On the other side, Marco D'Angelo. Jackson, get yourself ready. Marco D'Angelo joins us coming up next on Fox Sports 9.
Take the points. Clear by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Got the urge to pick games each week? Thursday, Sunday, even Mondays? Then sign up now for the Twin Peaks Fan Pick'em, courtesy of Blue Moon and Coors Light. It's totally free to play. Head to fanpick'em.com. That's fanpick'em.com.
Hi, this is Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. We started in 1998 with our original store in Tempe. Fast forward to 2023 with 6 stores across the valley. We've had a lot of fun along the way, including our pizza eating challenge and our appearance on the show Breaking Bad. Thank you to our employees and customers for 25 fantastic years. We have never changed our core ingredients or recipes, and every pizza is made by hand. I'm a proud 1998 ASU alum and the official pizza partner of ASU Athletics. Learn more about our story at venezias.com.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Choosing the right lawyer after a car wreck is important. You need to consider the law firm's experience, results, and reputation. Lerner Rowe stands above other law firms when it comes to experience and results, helping over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries. When it comes to reputation, we have thousands of 5-star reviews, and year after year, we have been voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. Call us today and let us put our experience, proven results, and reputation to work for you.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. 970-190.
In Arizona can compete on price. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and online at wrighttoyota.com.
Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium to take on the Coach Prime-led Colorado Buffaloes Saturday, October 7th for ASU's Hall of Fame game. An incredible class of Sun Devil legends will be honored at halftime for their induction into the Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame, including Phoenix area product and NFL veteran Sean McDonald. Get your ASU Colorado tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker joins me now.
From across the nation.
What is the number one issue for you?
To the national stage.
And I welcome you to the final 2020 presidential debate.
When critical votes were counted.
Still too close to call.
And when power was held to account.
Is abuse of power an impeachable offense?
Kristen Welker met the moment. Now she joins Meet the Press as its new moderator.
If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Sundays on NBC.
Joe Brown here with Accident Law Group. If you were hurt in an accident, find us on the web at accidentlawgroup.com.
Why is iHeartRadio the number one streaming radio app? Free music.
Free live radio stations from all over the country.
Free podcasts.
Free playlists.
Free contests. Free artist radio stations.
Commercial-free stations. It's free. I love iHeartRadio. Join the millions of music, radio, and podcast fans on the number one streaming radio app now.
iHeartRadio.
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 Free never sounded so good.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona.
You're live.
Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Nah, you know what time it is? We head up to Las Vegas to say hello to friend of the program, regular contributor, Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com.
Marco!
There he is.
Yeah, I'm back.
I said we got a call from Marco's agent saying no more of that that half-baked intro that he got last week when Jackson was gone.
I tried.
Yeah. Hey, Marco, before we talk about all of this, were you at the U2 concert last night? Did you go to the Sphere?
Unfortunately, not for the opening, but everybody's posting all kinds of videos on social media. It is an absolutely incredible venue from everybody that I've heard so far, and I'll be getting there pretty soon. And I imagine, I know you're a music lover. I'm sure you're going to be making the trek over to Vegas pretty soon.
Oh, it's on the agenda, Marco. Absolutely. And I just, to set this particular concert aside, it's such. I mean, Las Vegas and the Strip and everything goes with it, but this building is amazing. Like with the, just what we're seeing, I can't even put it in words. Like, but you drive around, you live in Las Vegas. How cool is just the building itself?
Oh, it is. And I had my niece and nephew out here just a couple weeks ago, and we had to do the drive down the Strip that everybody likes to do. But then we hung the right-hand turn, and went down the street past the Venetian and right up to the Sphere, and it's absolutely unbelievable. My suggestion, though, if you are going to come to Vegas, come after F1, because right now traffic is an absolute mess doing the construction for the F1 event in November, and it takes a long time to make that trek down the Strip.
All right, I always check in with Marco before I go to Vegas for anything, whether it be concert recommendations, food recommendations, whatever it is, so you can count on that. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's jump into the games this week, Marco. And interesting game, and I don't know that normally we would pick this game, but after last week particularly, the way Notre Dame lost the game to Ohio State, I have to believe there's a little bit of a hangover going on, and then all of a sudden Duke is relevant and not relevant for basketball. We're looking at a game today in North Carolina, Notre Dame on the road. They're 4.5-point favorites, and the point total sits at 53.5. What do you think about this one, Marco?
Yeah, actually, we've got 5.5 here across town in Vegas on the game. And you hit the nail on the head, Mike. I guess we're hanging out too much together, because now you're starting to think like me. And this is a very tough spot for Notre Dame. You talk about potential trap spot. You've got Notre Dame coming in here off of – you can't have any more of a gut-wrenching loss. You have the game won. It's down to – the final play of the game. You make a stop on the down before, and it comes down to one play. They get it just across the end zone line, and you played the final two plays with 10 players. So not only is it gut-wrenching in defeat, but now you're kicking yourself for the mental error of not having 11 guys on the field, and now you got to go on the road and play a Duke team. And as you said, this is a team that suddenly, is relevant. They're undefeated. I like to call these type of games for Duke, even though they're undefeated, everybody's going to do the same thing, and they're going to go, yeah, well, who did they beat? Well, you know what? You can only play the schedule that's in front of you, and they have first week on the schedule, it was Clemson. They handed Clemson a sound defeat, 28-7, week one. I like them in this spot. Now, we talk about things in handicapping. You know that Duke is one of my favorite situations as far as being a balanced offense. We know that Notre Dame's offense is balanced. We know Notre Dame has better athletes. All of that is a given, but we're playing the situation because of what happened last week. Then we look at Duke. They can run the football for 200 yards. They can throw the football for over 200 yards. That makes it tough for defenses. And believe it or not, Duke, they've been an absolute money machine. Going back to the start of last season, if you blindly bet Duke in every game, you would be 13-4 against the spread. That's incredible in itself. But now let's take it to playing at home where they are today. How about 8-1 against the spread? We have this move to a night game. You've got game day there. And as you said, game day's in Duke. And this is not December for basketball, okay? They're there for football. This is what I like to refer to as Duke's legitimizer or statement game, where they're going to, announce they're coming, that they're for real. And then, I like to bring you some stats, guys. Here's a stat for you. I've got two of them. League-wide college football. Playing on home underdogs from 3.5 to 10 points in a game where both opponents outrush their opponents by 50-plus yards per game. If you blindly have done that the last 5 seasons in college football, 34-9 against the spread, taking the dog. Another one for you. Play on home dogs, same line range, 3.5 to 10-point home dogs, who has had 3 or more consecutive wins, and their season win percentage is 80% or better, and they're facing another team with just a winning record or better. How about 30-8 against the spread the last 10 years in college football? I'm going to go ahead and take Duke plus the points. I think this is going to be a barn burner tonight.
Wow.
All right.
What a stat.
Music to my ears. I love watching Notre Dame lose football games, so hopefully it is a Duke win. But let's turn our attention to the only double-digit point spread in the NFL, and it features a team that won outright as a double-digit underdog last week. The Cardinals 3-0 against the spread this season, somewhere around 2 touchdowns. My goodness, the Cardinals look like they're going to get boat raced on the road at San Francisco, but that's what everybody thought last week against the Cowboys. Marco, how do you see this Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers game panning out for the Cardinals, for the Niners, and most importantly, for us at the betting window?
Well, guys, first thing I got to say is, did the Arizona players not get that memo about the tanking? They got to win. They are 3-0 against the spread. There's not many teams that have a 3-0 against the spread record so far this season. And that's, 2 things there. One, we know how much people overreact to everything in the NFL. And obviously, everybody, the perception was that they are going to be tanking and they want to run to the window to get in front of that. And it's inflated the point spreads because they are just 1-2. Now, the other thing that I'm going to point out is that they haven't played 3 elite teams. Washington's, mediocre at best. The Giants have really had all kinds of trouble. They can't get out of their own way so far. In Dallas, although I would put them in the upper echelon of the NFL, remember, last week they were banged up. They had 3 offensive linemen out. And that is the one injury that the public just doesn't put enough emphasis on. I always say it, if you've got a banged-up offensive line, it's the equivalent of trying to drive a car with a flat tire. Just doesn't go smooth. And that's what you end up this week. Now, enter this week. You've got a team coming in here in the San Francisco 49ers that we know how good they are. You also are getting them with extra days of prep. They're coming off that Thursday night game. Not exactly what you want to do if you're the Arizona Cardinals facing this defense that is absolutely stellar. How stellar? Well, they're the number 3 defense in the NFL right now at 4.4 yards per play. That's all they're allowing. The key to the Arizona success thus far through the 3 games, and especially the last 2 games, they were able to run the football for 151 yards against the Giants and 222 yards against Dallas. That does not happen in this game. You look at what San Francisco has done thus far. They have allowed a grand total in 3 games of 159 yards on the ground. Why is that so important? Well, if you can't run the football, it changes all your downs and distances. And Joshua Dobbs, again, kudos to everything he's done. He's not turning the football over. He's driving the ship, as they say, don't put a dent in the car, just get us to the finish line. And he's keeping them in games. But whenever you're behind the sticks against a defense like this, bad things happen. And that's what I fear for the Cardinals in this game. I like San Francisco in this game. Give you a couple stats with the 49ers. They are, over the last 2 seasons, 10-1 against the spread as a home favorite. Average score in that 11 games, 29-12 margins. Okay, that's 17 points. That covers the 14. But when they're playing division opponents the last 2 seasons, they are a perfect 7-0 against the spread. They take care of business in the games they have to, and the margin of victory, 31-14. I've got San Francisco in this one. I'm going to go ahead and lay the 14. I've got San Francisco winning 27-10. If you do the math, we got several plays we can go there. We can lay the 14 with San Francisco. We can take the under 43.5 for the full game, and we can also take the under 14.5 team total on the Arizona Cardinals, as I only see them getting 10. So officially, it's San Francisco as our play, but you got a couple other there if you want a little more action.
Just to recap, Marco is going with Duke plus the points, plus 5.5. He's taking the home favorite, the 49ers, minus 14. Those are Marco's picks of the weekend. Last question for you, Marco, as we let you go. We appreciate the time as always. You spoke last week about Colorado, not only their impact in college football and the TV ratings, but also in the sports books as well. Where, from the Vegas perspective, where did you see the action in this game right now, USC Colorado? I know a lot of people had Colorado with the points, and they disappointed last week. Where was Vegas on this matchup against USC?
Well, I can tell you where Vegas was. A lot of you still got the recreational players playing Colorado. The Sharps are playing USC. They expect them to run roughshod. Yours truly is involved in the game, and I am rooting for them to keep scoring.
Ooh. I
actually had to close my iPad because it was distracting me having action on a game while I'm doing the radio show. So I just want to keep seeing both teams going up and down. The difference last week, why it didn't go over, guys, is Oregon had the 42-0 lead. The key part of that was, and that's why I went over this week, is they were tossing the shutout. As long as they were tossing the shutout, the defense played hard for the full 60 minutes trying to get that shutout, and the offense shut it down trying to milk clock to help them get that shutout. USC, as we saw last week, I've talked about the struggles that the Arizona State offense has had. Arizona State put up 28 points last week on USC. So I thought Colorado would get enough points in this game to force USC to keep scoring, which USC has, in my opinion, as good or better of an offense of Oregon with more explosive play. So we're rooting for over 72.5.
There we go. He's Marco D'Angelo. Follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas, and of course the website wagertalk.com, and each and every Saturday morning right here on our show. Marco, as always, great stuff. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys, let's cash some tickets.
Marco D'Angelo here for his weekly visit, breaking it down as he does. And again, Jackson just told you, recapping Marco's pick, taking the Duke Blue Devils plus the points against Notre Dame, and then he likes San Francisco 27-10 over the Arizona Cardinals.
The Dukies, are you serious?
Are you serious?
There you go. Hey, playoff baseball. Let's talk about it next right here on Fox Sports 910.
The Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Check this out. This is The Herd. You're excited. I'm excited.
With Colin Cowherd.
So Aaron Rodgers, quote, our offense needs to grow up and not point fingers. So there's a lot of finger pointing at Zach Wilson from the offense, fighting on the sidelines, and Aaron says, guys, grow up. Aaron is trying to be a leader here. That I appreciate.
This is The Herd. Monday at 10. Tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, rock for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook. Lesser roofers cut corners, cobbling together patchwork roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
Over the years, Lerner Rowe has helped over 150,000 injured people recover billions of dollars for their injuries and over $1 billion in the last 5 years alone. What does that mean to you when you're looking for an attorney to handle your personal injury case? That means that Lerner Rowe is a law firm that not only has experience, but the proven results to recover money for your injuries. The insurance companies know which attorneys won't put up a fight. When you call us, we call them, and they know they have to pay.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
When you buy Kroger brand products, you feel like you're winning. That's because they offer proven quality at lower than low prices. In fact, we guarantee that you and your family will love how Kroger brand products taste, or you get your money back. So next time you're shopping for the family, look for delicious Kroger brand products, because they'll make you all feel like you're winning. Shop now, in-store, or online. Fries, fresh for everyone.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there, and around there, and even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Did you know COVID-19 related ER visits are 3 times higher than the flu? Stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna, proud sponsor of the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
You're live. Thanks again to Marco D'Angelo.
Marco.
Follow on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. The website
Is that what it sound like?
wagertalk.com.
I was just trying to get in the background with the Marco rather than scream and blast speakers in people's cars.
Sorry. Yeah, right. Hey, a couple of interesting non-football things we'll jump into here. We talked about it on the way out last segment. Arizona Diamondbacks. I hate to say it. I don't want to jinx anybody, but are they a lock for the playoffs? I mean, they lost last night. And here's the beauty of it. Maybe if you're not a Diamondbacks fan, but the beauty of Major League Baseball, you've got Houston at Arizona for your final series of the year, and it matters.
Yeah.
It matters to both teams. And if you're a fan, whether you're watching on TV or one of the 30-some thousand that were in the stadium last night.
36 plus.
It matters, and it's so cool. Diamondbacks, they are the second wild card team. They are a half game clear of the Miami Marlins and a game and a half ahead of the Reds and the Cubs. And if we were in Chicago, we'd be doing a whole show. We'd be doing a whole week on the epic collapse of the Chicago Cubs. But we're not. We're in Phoenix.
Hey, the Diamondbacks had a lot to do with that, by the way, taking them down 6 games to 1 in terms of the 7 September games the D-backs had against the Cubs.
Yeah, but
that's where the D-backs made a big playoff push.
Even without the Diamondbacks, oh, my goodness, it's so bad. But like I said, we're in Phoenix. First time since 2017. Bauer, you're there every night. What's your thoughts here? I mean, these games still matter for the Astros. So this is not going to be anything that the Diamondbacks are going to be given. They're not going to mail it in. The Astros hanging on by a thread.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. Look, last night was a huge disappointment for the Arizona Diamondbacks because you had an opportunity to clinch at home. You had your best pitcher on the bump, right? You had Zach Gallen. It was Galentine's Day at the ballpark yesterday. You had him on the bump. And on top of that, you were going up against a fill-in pitcher, right? You had a family emergency that ended up changing, and that way Jose Urquidy, he ends up starting. Everything's lining up for the Diamondbacks who, hey, we did make a push late in the game in the 9th. You almost had a Gabriel Moreno home run that would have tied it. It goes right below right below the edge of the wall. It ends up being a double. But we could have a potential double champagne situation at Chase Field tonight. If the Reds lose and they start the game at 4:15, D-backs play at 5:10. If the Reds lose their game and the Astros win against the Diamondbacks tonight with Justin Verlander on the mound against Merrill Kelly, both teams are celebrating clinching the playoffs at Chase Field tonight. It could happen. Obviously, I would not like that to happen. I like the D-backs to win outright, make it easy. Don't have to worry about, the Reds game earlier, a team that put up. By the way, the Reds scored 19 runs yesterday. The Bengals scored 19 on Monday Night Football. So it's the same number.
If you missed SportsCenter last night, the home run montage that they put together for the Reds was absolutely remarkable.
It was heartbreaking. I want to see the Cardinals win that game. Come on.
Here's a disappointing thing for the Diamondbacks, Bauer, when you talk about the disappointment.
Oh, I had a chance
what happened
yesterday, the day before.
And now what you don't get to do is scratch Merrill Kelly from tonight and get him ready for whatever your potential postseason first-round game is. And that's the disappointing part, that you had the ability to help your postseason game, and you have to worry about clinching still.
Hey, ideally yesterday, I mean, and granted, hindsight, look, we lost last night, but ideally going into the game, the Cubs and the Reds lose, and in like the 4th inning, in the middle of an at-bat, you pull Zach Gallen because you're like, hey, bud, you're done. We need you for next week. We are now in the playoffs. Zach Gallen gets pulled at 61 pitches or something like that. It's some random, completely related to the playoffs. But now, look, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, you have a situation where mathematically they might not make the playoffs. If you look at the FanGraphs odds, though, right, if you're just looking at their odds, the D-backs are 94.5% to make the playoffs. All they got to do is they need to, right, you control your own destiny, you win and you're in, or a Cincinnati Reds loss. Reds, once again, they start at 4:15 today. D-backs at 5:10.
Meanwhile, Jackson, big news in the National Basketball Association. A trade that you and I were talking about before the show, and money to be made everywhere. Damian Lillard, I mean, the two principals, right? There's a lot that goes into this, but Damian Lillard finally moves on from Portland. We knew this was going to happen. It was a matter of where, and I think the smart money, or at the point earlier, the smart money was Miami. He ended up sending to Florida.
That's where he wanted to go. He's like, hey, I want to go.
But by the way, you go play for the Bucks. Not such a bad consolation prize. And DeAndre Ayton, the time of that number 1 pick is over. He is now a Portland Trailblazer.
Yeah, I really like this trade for the Suns. To get 4 guys out of it. Keon Johnson might not make the team. Obviously, they've got Ish Wainwright, Damian Lee, other guys that they've had on the roster. It's kind of an overload there. But I like Nurkic. I like Nasir Little. I thought was a really good pickup in that trade. And then Grayson Allen, the most hated player in basketball. Bring him on to Phoenix. You kind of need that gritty guy, the Pat Bev, you would say, on this roster. But you look at this roster, it's looking pretty deep. Still some question marks there at center, but the odds have changed. The Bucks are now the favorite to win the NBA title at plus 300. But a better on DraftKings put in March that Damian Lillard was going to end up on the Bucks, and it was 80-1. He put $10. Walked home with $810 from that bet. So a lot of money there to be won for that Dame Lillard trade. Your guys' thoughts on Dame Lillard to the Bucks and DeAndre Ayton no longer in Phoenix?
We talked about this, and Bauer, you drive around Phoenix and you're like, who won the trade? Who won the trade? It doesn't matter right now, and you can say, I think, and I like your analysis. Needed depth.
Yeah.
If you're the Suns and you're the Bucks, if you don't win the championship, you didn't win the trade. The only reason you're making trades at this point, if you're a team at this level, is to win championships. So don't talk to me about improving your playoff standings or winning the West or anything like that. If you're the Suns and you don't win the NBA championship in June of next year, you didn't win this trade.
It's an international championship. Thank you, Toronto Raptors. Hey, look, Yusuf Nurkic seems to be a better fit here. There's a reason why the Suns' odds actually got better. But in this offseason, the biggest acquisition was obviously and clearly Bradley Beal. That was the one that just shook everybody. And at that point in time, there's a lot of people reading the tea leaves and going, all right, look, just financially, how do you make this work? Yeah. But also in terms of it too, DeAndre Ayton wants to eat. He wants to score. It's not like he at no point in time is going to make his bread and butter in his NBA career playing defense. It's not going to happen. And that's also Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, he wants to fill it up. He's a much better defender for his position than DeAndre Ayton. But still, Bradley Beal comes in. You got Devin Booker. You got Kevin Durant. There's only one basketball to go around. All right. In order for them to go and get, I think, some good value to really help some depth from the top to the bottom of this roster, I think the Phoenix Suns got better this week, and that includes trading DeAndre Ayton, the once mistake of a number one overall draft pick.
Absolutely. Real quickly, it's almost time to get out of here. You got a Colorado USC up.
Yeah, so we had Mark on about 10 minutes ago, and he was talking about the Colorado USC over that he has at 72.5. Within 2 minutes, 14 points have been scored, and that over has been cashed for Marco.
Our number one is Mike Gross, Jackson Croft. We're at the CAZ Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 to go. We'll be right back on Fox Sports 910.
Clear.
See your Valley Chevy dealers today during Chevy's truck season. Every truck has a story. Make yours a strong one. It's Chevy Trucks. See your Valley Chevy dealers today.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop and say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets, and your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with food and late night plans? Twin Peaks, the number one sports bar.
Versatile EQB to the sublime EQS van. Mercedes-Benz makes electric extraordinary. The vehicles are electric, fitting its all Mercedes. Learn more at MBUSA.com/EQ.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
those stomach issues ruined your birthday?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa?
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
This is KGME Phoenix, KESC, HD2 Phoenix, and iHeart Radio Station. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on the Herd, weekdays at Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app. The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Monday from 10 to 1. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC, HD2 Phoenix, iHeart Radio Station. We are one. And here's what you need to know.
Checking scores across college football. Number 8 USC leads Colorado 48-27 as they head to the fourth quarter. Caleb Williams has been outstanding, 374 yards and 6 touchdowns, but just threw his first interception of the season moments ago, giving Colorado some life. They've got the football down 21. Elsewhere, number 6 Penn State beginning to pull away from Northwestern. It's 27-13 with 9 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. This game was tied at halftime. Also have number 22 Florida trailing Kentucky and Lexington 33-14 to score with about 5 minutes to play in the fourth. Kentucky running back Ray Davis with 276 yards on the ground and 4 total touchdowns. Also keeping an eye on Texas A&M. They're pulling away from Arkansas 34-16 late in the fourth quarter. Clemson on top of Syracuse 24-14 on the road in upstate New York. 11 minutes to play.
This is the My Guy Referrals Weather Center. Visit myguy.com for 5-star local referrals. Make My Guy your guy.
We've got an excessive heat warning for our weekend with a forecast high of 113 degrees on our Saturday and a mostly sunny sky. Then overnight falling to a low of 87 for the morning low Sunday. In the afternoon, though, back up to 112.
I think so. I think I've zeroed in on it, yeah.
For the Fox 10 weather experts, meteorologist Crystal Ortiz.
This report is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. What will you find at Macy's Backstage?
Gross put
fall finds
his
for
winnings on last week,
$25
and
and under. Like sharp blazers, cozy sweaters, cargo pants, jackets.
Hey,
and
the
more.
I have
Find
no
the
money
latest
left in
trends and new
any of my
arrivals at a
accounts, so
Macy's
I
Backstage
can't.
store
I'm not
near
gonna
you.
bet it myself, so I feel kind of weird.
Time for Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeart Radio app.
Welcome in. Hour number 2. Take the Points. Mike Bauer, Mike Gross, Jackson Groff. Take you up to 1 o'clock here at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona, Loop 101 in McKellips. And happy to have you along today. Covered a lot of territory in our opening hour. Jackson, anything interesting on the scoreboard? You gave us a USC Colorado scoring update right before the break. What about Penn State? Are they going to?
Yeah, Penn State.
Are they going to hang on to beat Northwestern?
Go Northwestern. Come on.
So Penn State's in the red zone right now. They're up 27-13, 9 minutes and 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It looks like they're going to either get 3 or 7 here. But a game that's interesting. And again, we talked in the break about you guys both picking USC in your CFP. Their defense, struggling. They had a really good first half against Colorado. Since then, Colorado scored 13 second half points. They're in the red zone right now, but they're down 21. So something to keep an eye out for those that either bet on USC to cover or Colorado to cover in that one.
I don't know if you guys had any action on this last night, but Oregon State got the big win last night, 21-7 over Utah in Corvallis. Look, they were number 19 going into that game. Utah was number 10, one of 4. They had 7, 8, 9, and 10. 4 top 10 teams in the Pac-12.
Wait, Oregon State was ranked?
But Oregon State 19. Ranked 19.
Oh, I thought so.
They get the win. Even though they had just lost to Washington State, they still were ranked. And, Oregon State with a big victory there. The Utes just looking awful. Again, no Cam Rising for them, but no win for them, 21-7 in Pac-12 action last night. I don't know if you guys had action on that, but I bet on it, I would have been all over the use on that one too.
Me too.
And man, oh man, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I was a little distracted with baseball and I didn't make a wager on that game because I would have lost.
Two things. I'm shocked Cam Rising hasn't came back yet, 1. And 2, I'm surprised they didn't go with Bryson Barnes at quarterback. He was the quarterback that started against Florida. First play of the season, 75-yard touchdown pass. More of a thrower there, but if you're a Utah fan, I still think they got a lot in front of them. They play Washington, USC, and they play Oregon still, as Colorado just scored, just as I was saying that.
Yeah, right. And it's going to be interesting with this Pac-12, right? We talk about out of non-conference play for the most part. We hadn't played any conference games. You had, 8 teams in the top 25, and now that they're starting to play each other, beat each other up, and going back to that game a week ago, everybody was on Oregon State in that game up in Pullman, and that's why we play the games, right? Washington State not having any of it. And if you're an Oregon State fan, you're happy with the win last night, but it's got to be frustrating to, replay that in your mind. Speaking of which, if you can't get the Pac-12 network, that's most of you out there.
I would say that's just about everybody.
Come on out here to the Sportsbook at CAZ, at the CAZ Sportsbook at Casino Arizona. They have the Pac-12 network, and ASU Cal has just kicked off. You can pull up a chair in front of the big screen and enjoy that game right here at the Sportsbook. Great food, drink specials for you here as well.
The only thing I worry about for the Pac-12, and I want the Pac-12 to represent in the CFP in their last year, is there's just so many good teams that they all play each other. I'm worried that it's going to end up, Washington losing to USC, USC losing to Oregon, Oregon losing to Washington in a carousel like it always is.
Yep.
And we might see a team. Hopefully we'll have a one-loss Pac-12 that makes it in there, but I'm just nervous that maybe a team might not make it because there's so many good teams.
Well, here's the thing for me. I honestly believe, you guys correct me if you disagree, I think right now the class of the Pac-12 is USC, Oregon, Washington, as you just said. And my hope, if you want the scenario you just laid out, Jackson, is that either Oregon or Washington runs the table, because I don't think this USC defense is capable. I wouldn't trust them, and I wouldn't want them carrying the Pac-12 banner beyond the conference when it gets to bowl season and hopefully into the college football playoffs if you want this conference to be part of it in their final iteration in 2023. So it's got to be Oregon or Washington, doesn't it, Bauer?
I would have until last night put Utah in that conversation, but now obviously Utah's got that L. They're out. Gross, we looked at this last week, and I said, hey, at this point in time, this is where the rankings stand. Obviously, that's changed with UCLA and Colorado losing, but here's the Arizona Wildcats' upcoming schedule. Number 7, Washington at home today. Then you go on the road at number 8, USC, at number 16, Washington State, against number 19, Oregon State. Again, that'll change. And then UCLA, Colorado, and Utah. When we talked last week, those were all ranked teams. Every one of them was ranked. Now, obviously, there's been some jostling there, and that'll continue to happen throughout the course of the season. But, Jackson, to your point, this is a league that has time and time again cannibalized itself. Hell, we see this in college basketball, too, for the Pac-12, where they beat each other up and they cannibalize themselves in the opportunity. Whereas this year, you're going to have Washington, Oregon, USC be kind of carrying the banner for the conference, and nobody's going to be perfect at the end of the year. And if you have a one-loss, insert any team name from this conference against a one-loss, insert any team name from the SEC, guess who wins that?
Well, and especially in a year where we might not see 2 SEC teams because of Alabama losing early in the year and then LSU. So Alabama's LSU's best chance is obviously one of them's got to get out of that division with one loss, and then they've got to beat an undefeated Georgia who's got a cakewalk of a schedule. And then on the other side of it, the Big Ten.
If that happens, then you have 2 SEC teams, though. I mean, that's boom.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily because if Georgia beats Bama, they're 2 losses. Or even LSU in the SEC championship, I don't think a 2-loss SEC team makes it.
I agree. I'm saying, though, if one of them beats an undefeated Georgia,
then
2 SEC teams are in over anything that happens in the Pac-12.
100%.
Save a perfect season.
Yeah. Well, and that's going back to that point. That's really what's going to be decided is late in the year, where USC has Washington and Oregon back-to-back, and Washington and Oregon play each other right before then. So, look, that's where this is going to be decided, and I'll take a little bit of an issue with the Pac-12 cannibalizing itself. The fact of the matter is, particularly in basketball, the Pac-12 hasn't been good enough to have a cannibalization conversation. That's when you look at the Big 12 when you have maybe 8 or 10 teams that are NCAA basketball tournament worthy, right? You've not seen that in, I can't even remember, for the Pac-12. So what you have is teams like USC that you put all your stock in, then underperform when they get that opportunity and disappoint. You go to a Pac-12 championship game and you lose. That's not cannibalization. That's your standard bearer pooping the bed, excuse my French. But, I think the Pac-12, really, it comes down a stretch to Washington, Oregon, USC, all which will be played late in the season. And I can't wait, because if it's going to happen right now, I think this is the year, because I think right now, finally on the football side, you're at a point where you have teams that are able to compete nationally. I really believe that. And, in addition to everything I just said, Washington and Oregon, I lied to you, which I hate doing. They play just in a couple weeks, October 14th. And then you've got the stretch that USC playing Oregon and Washington later on in November.
What I love about that game, Gross, at Washington, both teams on bye the week before. So they've got 2 weeks to prepare for that game, and it's kind of all or nothing for both Penix and Bo Nix when it comes to the Heisman Trophy. And for the Pac-12 championship, again, they would have to have some kind of scenario. Whoever loses that, they would have to probably win out and hope that someone could dethrone the other team there. But your guys' opinion right now, who do you guys think is the best team in the Pac-12 right now?
Man, it is hard to go against Washington. The way that they've played, I mean, I want to lean USC, but then I every time I turn my head and I look at the TVs here, the Casino Arizona Sportsbook, Colorado's putting another point up on the board. And to your point, we started off the show talking about this, Mike Gross. USC puts up 48. That's great. USC might allow 48 when this game's all said and done. That defense doesn't give me much confidence. Right now, I'm saying it's hard to say it's not Washington. Oregon's a pretty damn good football team, though, too.
I'd have to go Washington if you make a decision right now. Obviously, that question will be answered in a couple weeks, and 100% agree with you. And if it was just points against Colorado, that's one thing. But they did the same thing against San Jose State, the USC defense, and that's why I said I'm kicking myself for picking USC in the college football playoffs when we made.
They gave up 28 to San Jose State in the first game of the season, and they gave up 28 last week in Tempe to a god-awful Sun Devil team.
Fresno State shut this team out.
And then the ASU Sun Devils, with their 15th string quarterback, third, put up 28 against USC.
And that was my point about, I mean, I'm happy for ASU. You get moral victories. It's important. You were shut out by Fresno State. That, I think, is a more realistic indication of where ASU's football team is right now than scoring points on the USC defense. I'm sorry.
I agree with you guys, Washington, but for me, for Oregon, they're probably the most shocking team. I didn't think Oregon's defense was going to be this good, and I didn't think Bo Nix with these different weapons, being younger guys like Troy Franklin and Bucky Irving, they've shocked me there. But that Oregon defense is definitely something surprising. Washington, what they've done offensively with the wide receivers is obviously superior to what Oregon's done. But that Oregon team, man, I'm so excited for that game October 14th.
Here's the thing. If you are a fan, not necessarily of Washington or Oregon, but a fan of or a hopeful that the Pac-12 gets into the college football playoffs this year, what you have to hope for is whoever wins that game in Seattle, on October 14th, they win out. They win out, they run the table, and don't do what the Pac-12 regular season champion has done so many times, losing the Pac-12 championship game.
I wish the 12-team playoff was this year. I'm not going to lie. I wish it was this year. If it was this year, I think 3 Pac-12 teams would make it.
Yeah. So, interesting, the Pac-12 and where they're placed. It's kind of sad, guys, that, this is it. This is the swan song for the Pac-12 because it feels like when you're talking about this many teams playing well and representing well in non-conference games, and to know it's getting all blown up in I don't know how many months, in December or whatever.
Yeah, this is the swan song.
This is the swan song, and it's kind of disappointing. Because I'd like to see what an Oregon State team would do in this conference if they could continue this run. Is Washington State legit, right? Does USC ever figure out the defense to go with this explosive offense? That'll be a question for the Big Ten to solve.
One thing, as we're talking about Pac-12, just a reminder for everybody, the traditional North versus South that ended before last Pac-12. So last season was the first year we actually had 2 teams from the South, right? You had the USC and Utah Utes game there in Las Vegas. Same thing will happen again this year. So it could potentially be depending on what happens, it could be a rematch of Oregon-Washington. Even though they're both in the North, it still could be the 1 and the 2
best,
regardless of their division. So I just want to remind everybody, as we're kind of planning out the pathways to the division or to the conference championship game, as we're planning those things out, it is a situation where, hey, it's the 2 best teams in the conference, which means you could have Oregon and Washington rematch in Vegas if you loses to a Notre Dame or loses, to one of the another conference.
That's it. Run the table. We'll step aside here. Let's jump into the NFL. That's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. It will be a battle of the trenches when the Commanders head to Philly to battle the undefeated Eagles tomorrow at 9:30 on Fox Sports 910, presented by HornCars.com. That's HORNE Cars.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
There are many signs that you may be in financial trouble. Late mortgage payments, paying bills from your retirement account, or paying one credit card with another. If you're experiencing financial hardship, bankruptcy may be right for you. The credit industry wants you to believe that bankruptcy is bad and will destroy your credit forever, but that's just not true. At Lerner Rowe Law Group, we'll take the time to carefully examine your situation and develop a plan that is right for you. Call Lerner Rowe Law Group today for a free consultation.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Sean Forster, managing attorney.
Escape the scorching heat and get engaged in Putting World's 18-hole putting experience. Stay cool while mastering the greens and having a blast with family and friends. Visit Putting World today.
Your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by to say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do, but not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Toyota, make the right choice. Right Toyota is Scottsdale, just on Frank Lloyd Boulevard, and online at righttoyota.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook. Lesser roofers cut corners, cobbling together patchwork roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
Barbecue tip number 7 from Roland Dickey. The key to tender, juicy chicken breast is the marinade. And we make our Italian-inspired flavor with a little kick. Don't be the 7-layer dip guy. Game day and cold beer needs tender, juicy barbecue. Dickey's XL Pack features 3 pounds of meat, 4 large sides, and all the fixins. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs. Why is iHeartRadio the #1 streaming radio app? Free music.
Free live radio stations from all over the country.
Free podcasts. Free playlists.
Free contests. Free artist radio stations.
Commercial-free stations. It's free. I love iHeartRadio. Join the millions of music, radio, and podcast fans on the #1 streaming radio app now.
iHeartRadio.
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 Free never sounded so good.
To take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Stay tuned. Final segment of the show. We'll give our picks and locks of the week. I may just skip the picks and do the locks this week. Plus, I'll listen to Richie give his lock of the week since he's been so money the last couple of weeks. But National Football League, guys, we haven't talked a lot about that today. Interesting games. Is this the week that the Vikings get their first win? You look at the teams that are winless right now, and Bauer and I kind of did a pass at the 0-2 teams, and the list of winless teams has shrunk to 4. Most surprising team on that list to me is the Vikings. They're on the road at Carolina. The Vikings 5.5-point favorites in that game tomorrow. I don't know. This Viking team, the defense isn't very good, and the offense has been letting them down. I mean, you have to like their chances against a pretty average or below average Carolina team, but disappointing start of the season for sure for the Vikings.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how Bryce Young, he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow and how he plays. We've seen C.J. Stroud and what he's done this season. He's starting to progress. Anthony Richardson's been looking good. But what can Bryce Young do against the Vikings? But to your point, Gross, what happened at the end of that Chargers game was definitely something you look. There's something off between O'Connell and Cousins. There's been rumors of Cousins last season. Is that playing into effect? But I mean, you look at it, you say Justin Jefferson, 458 yards, 27 receptions in 3 games. You would assume that they'd one of those games be a win, but hasn't been the case for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Vikings, it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, hey, the numbers are there offensively, but defensively, they can't get it done. Look, you're going up against a team that's in a huge rebuild, a team that just had the number 1 pick in the draft, that went out and got their guy. But guys, let's be honest. This really is the Adam Thielen revenge game, right? I mean, this is, Minnesota Vikings, huge disappointment for a team that was 13-4 last year, and this year they could go to 0-4. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they win. I think they win straight up. That number has been moving. They were at 3. It went to about 3.5. Now you're looking at 4.5. You can get it at 5, 5.5. So that number keeps moving. I'm less of a fan on Minnesota with the points. I'd be leaning towards maybe the money line. Obviously, your number is going to be a lot worse now than it was earlier in the week. But my lock of the week last week, guys, was the over in the Minnesota-LA game because I had no faith in these defenses.
Right.
They had 52 points scored in that game. The over-under was 54. So my lock of the week was a complete and utter failure last week. But, hey, at 46.5, I kind of like the over in this game.
A lot of people talking, obviously, about the Cardinals winning outright against the Dallas Cowboys at the stadium last Sunday. Lost kind of in the conversation of the Tankathon, Draft Watch, whatever you want to call it, was the Houston Texans going on the road and winning at Jacksonville, a place where they've had a lot of success recently, but you had to, going into that game anyways, had to have a feeling that, this was a year that Jacksonville turns it around. But now all of a sudden the Texans get a win. They keep that streak going. Now they're back home against a team that I can't figure out, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are 2.5-point favorites. I don't know. I mean, I look at this one, and if if Houston can beat Jacksonville on the road, is beating Texas is the Texans beating the Steelers at home that much of a stretch?
I like the Steelers in this just based on the defense. Their defense has been insane, including TJ Watt, probably playing some of the best ball he's had. 2 defensive touchdowns from TJ Watt, too. But on the other side, CJ Stroud's been playing well, so this is a big test for him. But again, it's going to come down to the quarterback play from Kenny Pickett, from CJ Stroud, which offense can get things sparking. Again, both defenses look good. It's interesting to see. If you would have said before the season that the Steelers would only be favored by 3 points against the Texans, I would be all over it. But I agree with you, Gross. It's kind of one of those you're shaking your head.
C.J. Stroud sacked 11 times through 3 games. That offensive line a little bit banged up. Look, T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith getting after C.J. Stroud. That might be a good little prop bet there to maybe get some sack numbers for those guys as
Interesting.
well.
I hate hyperbole, but I'll use it anyways.
Hyperbole.
It's 1 and 2. The Raiders and the Chargers, and in the AFC West, heck, in the AFC. If you have aspirations, and both of these teams do, of going to the postseason, you cannot go 1 and 3. I don't think, particularly if you're the Raiders playing at home. I'm sorry, the Chargers playing at home against the Raiders. Easy for me to say.
Let's be honest though. Think about the crowd. Who's going to be the home crowd in that game?
It's going to be the Raiders crowd, but the Chargers are a 4.5-point favorite, coming off their win that we talked about at the Vikings, a costly win as they lose Mike Williams for the year.
Well, I mean, which coach is going to be worse this game, Josh McDaniels or Brandon Staley?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, Josh McDaniels last week against the Steelers. Oh, yeah, let's kick the extra point down 8 when we could go for it, maybe have an opportunity to score and then get a 2-point conversion. Or even we score, miss a 2-point, we're down 3. No, we want to kick the 3 and be down 5. And then for Brandon Staley to go for it on 4th and 5 on their own 25 when they've got the lead already, just punt it. But yeah, both.
How does that guy
coach,
still have a job?
I don't know. This team has been so good roster-wise for the past 3 or 4 years, and they have not won a playoff game. Just blows my mind.
So good.
Losing Mike Williams with the ACL tear. I mean, this was a team that really wanted to be dynamic offensively. Austin Eckler hasn't been able to produce for them offensively.
He's out
this
too.
year. He's banged up. Mike Williams is out, torn ACL in that game last week. I mean, this is a banged up Chargers team, no doubt about it. And then on the other side of things, guys, not necessarily banged up, but what in the hell is going on with former Arizona Cardinals pass rusher Chandler Jones?
Sad story.
It really is
such a disappointing story. All right, last game we'll look at real quick. If you're out and about on Monday evening, want a place to watch the game and your chance to win cash watching the game.
Yeah.
It's the Seahawks and the Giants, right? Is that the game we have here, Jackson? Do you know?
It is the game.
Good.
The only Monday night game, yes, correct.
There's only one this week.
One this week.
There's 2 multiple games is not easy for me to keep up with. Seahawks travel cross country. They already beat the Lions in Detroit. Now they've got the Giants, who have looked wishy-washy their first 3 games of the year. The Seahawks are actually favored, a 1.5-point favorite. 47.5 is the point total in this one.
Why is it so low?
Marco mentioned this. There's something going on with the Giants. They are not right.
Except for in the second half against the Cardinals. They were great then.
But they didn't build on that. That's the thing. Like, that's the definition of not right. They're so inconsistent. I don't know. I kind of like Seattle in this one.
I'm surprised it's 1.5. I would hammer the spread here for Seattle, even on the money line there. Giants, Saquon, things are looking rocky, like you said, and the Seahawks are kind of stepping stride after that big win just a couple weeks ago against the Lions.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Something is not right in Giants land, a team that was in the postseason a year ago, not able to figure things out. So that's it. Monday Night Football here at the CAZ Sportsbook. Jackson giving away a lot of cash. What's the kickoff jackpot up to?
That's $675.
Your chance just to watch it. You got the squares, and I don't have the sheet in front of you.
We've got football bingo. We've got props going on, and all you have to do is just sign up, be a rewards member here at Casino Arizona, and win some money.
It's free.
And it's free.
It's free. So it's free to sign up. It's free to show up. Man, there you go.
Everything's free except the food and drinks. You will have to purchase that, but other than that,
the food and drink specials are amazing for Monday Night Football here at the Sportsbook. Get here early. Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B on the air till 4 o'clock. Then they kick things off once their show is over right here at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 in McKelv's Monday Night Football. Your chance to win cash just for joining the guys here at the casino. We'll step aside here. More to come on the other side. Fox Sports 9.
Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
See your Valley Chevy dealers today during Chevy's truck season. Every truck has a story. Make yours a strong one. It's Chevy truck season. See your Valley Chevy dealers today.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by to say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
Looking for a change in your career? All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
A homeowner just like you.
Hey.
Decides to fix his roof.
Okay.
He backs up his truck, ties one end of the rope to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
He's working on the backside of the roof until...
What? Wait, no.
Yes, Dad was in tow.
Ooh, was he hurt?
A few bruises and his pride.
Save yourself with State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and budget. From residential to commercial. State48roofing.com.
Got the urge to pick games each week? Thursday, Sunday, even Mondays? Then sign up now for the Twin Peaks Fan Pick, courtesy of Blue Moon and Coors Light. It's totally free to play. FanPick'em.com. That's FanPick'em.com.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Pasado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Go to your local store, favorite bar, restaurant, and all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of Game Day.
Chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker joins me now.
From across the nation
What is the #1 issue for you?
to the national stage,
And I welcome you to the final 2020 presidential debate.
when critical votes were counted
Still too close to call.
and when power was held to account,
Is abuse of power an impeachable offense?
Kristen Welker met the moment. Now she joins Meet the Press as its new moderator.
If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Sundays on NBC.
When you buy Kroger brand products, you feel
I think I got my lock locked in.
because they offer proven quality at lower than low prices. In fact, we guarantee that you and your family will love how Kroger brand products taste, or you get your money back. So next time you're shopping for the family, look for delicious Kroger brand products because they'll make you all feel like you're winning. Shop now.
Yeah, Sandy Brondello. So I still don't understand why they got rid of her.
Everyone.
Why is it, dude? Come on, you gotta get on the bandwagon now before it starts becoming. Ratings are up.
By the sport.
Everybody's into it now.
Okay. Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Your life.
We're trying to prime the pump, get some information out of Richie for his lock of the week coming up later on in our final segment.
It sure as hell better be a WNBA pick. It's going to cash a ticket just like you did right here last week. Or you haven't cashed it yet. You have the ticket right here with you. It's in your pocket.
Shout out to Casey for finding touch my ticket. We'll fight you on the air, Jackson.
If you're watching the video on Twitter, these guys are like fighting now.
Hand slaps. But we do our locks of the week. That's the only thing I'm any good at right now. I'm 3-1 on my locks. Everything else I stink at.
And I'm winning right now, but again, we don't have to mention that. But guys,
what are you winning?
I'm winning our overall. I'm in the lead.
You're
currently.
4-7-1. That's
and your record is worse.
Worse.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I wouldn't
Thank you.
I wouldn't be bragging if I were you. The fact that you're 4-7-1 on our weekly picks.
Hey, it's okay.
Why
you gotta expose me in front of them? We can just expose me in front of audience here.
Am I allowed to brag being 3-1 on the locks?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
There we go. All right, that's coming up in our final segment. Casey from the sport. I haven't seen him yet today. Hopefully he's here.
I think he is here. I see his bald head from a mile away.
Oh, you're so brutal. Glad he's here.
I believe that's Jack.
They're both bald, I guess. I don't know.
Moving right along. Do you have a scoreboard update for us, Jackson? What's going on around college football right now?
Yeah, all the way in Boulder, Colorado, the Hollywood of college football. USC is up 14. They're up 48-34. 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We'll see if Colorado can get some points here late and make it a close game. But if you've got USC covering the points, not looking too good for you right now. Turn it around here and get a Caleb Williams touchdown, which he's got 6 touchdown passes for the day, Gross.
Nail-biting time in Boulder. I think the hardest job in college football right now is the guy in the football office or the athletic office at CU there in Boulder that's in charge of sideline passes. You know, how do you
very tight sidelines too, might I add.
Yeah, it's a very close quarters there at Folsom Field in Boulder. Beautiful stadium, beautiful setting, but all of a sudden it's a hot ticket, and you know you've got to accommodate recruits, you've got to accommodate the celebrities and the stars and all the things that are going on there. So that would be to me a very difficult job allocating out the sideline passes for those games.
Mike Gross, are you a big DeBaby fan? Are you a huge fan of DeBaby?
No.
No?
Do you know who WB is?
I think I do, but I'm not even going to have this conversation.
I think it's pathetic that he was the motivational speaker the night before.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What
are we doing?
What are we doing?
Deanna bringing in rappers as motivational speaker. Hey, now.
If you're out,
it's a different game for them.
If you're out and about, Cal and ASU about to be tied from Berkeley, and it's on the Pac-12 network, which means most of you can't see it. So come on out here to the CAZ Sportsbook at Casino Arizona. They've got it on the big screen. You can enjoy lunch, have a few drinks, and enjoy Pac-12 football on the Pac-12 network as ASU and Cal battle it in Berkeley. 7-6 right now, pending the extra point for the Sun Devils. Later in the Pac-12, you've got to Oregon at Stanford. Stanford just struggling mightily this year. That game also Tucson, 7 o'clock kick on that one. Also on the Pac-12 network, as this is a good week for the Pac-12 network, getting a couple of nationally ranked teams on the network.
This to bring this full circle, as we're talking about Colorado, as we're talking about ASU and the Pac-12 network, Colorado will take on ASU next week on the Pac-12 network. So, guys, prepare for a nationwide blank storm on social media because the rest of the country is going to realize what we've gone through for many, many years now, which is, oh, I can't watch that team that now all of a sudden I've been interested in and I want to watch on TV because it's on this channel that doesn't exist for most people.
How do I get the Pac-12 network?
Yeah, so right now, next Saturday, Pac-12 network will absolutely be trending on all of the social media internets.
Okay, that's going to happen next week. We're in luck that there's some games going on today that people can watch, including on ESPN and Fox and ABC, that are coming this afternoon. Guys, I love the slate that's this afternoon, and we've got to start with LSU Ole Miss. 13 LSU on the road at 20 Ole Miss. LSU favored by 2.5 points. That's a team that's been super interesting, Gross. I mean, they were favored to win the SEC West early in the season. They were a top 4 team trying to regain and move up the rankings slowly. They go on the road at Ole Miss. What do you like in this one?
This Ole Miss team to me is really interesting, right? You know, and you know, when you're in the SEC, you find yourself in the conversation with a lot. You know, is this the week you upset Alabama? Is this the week that you beat LSU? So, you know, to me, this is an interesting spot that the Rebs find themselves in. I like this team, right? You know, they came up short against Alabama, but I like this team today against LSU.
I'm all over LSU. Look, I know that they're laying. Hey, if this was like 3.5, a little bit different. But it's on the right side of that magic number. This is the line that started at LSU minus 4.5. It's now moved a couple points. Thank you, Ole Miss, and obviously last week. But this is the line that started out at 4.5. I feel like I'm getting value at 2.5 here on the right side for that team with the field goal number. So give me LSU 2.5. I've already logged a couple bets of those on my Action Network. So just check it out.
Yeah, and I trust Jaden Daniels over Jackson Dart. Did not play well against Alabama last week. Their Ole Miss DBs struggled against Alabama, and LSU's wide receivers have been absolutely foreign recently. The other game to look out for, I know Kansas, Texas, we talked about it earlier, but the game of the night that Marco talked about, 11 Notre Dame at 17 Duke. He's going lane with Duke 5.5 plus 5.5. For me, guys, I mean, yes, I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I do think Notre Dame comes back stronger. They're pissed off. I like Sam Hartman. He's faced Duke before, which I think plays to advantage of Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame minus 5.5 tonight.
I question that a lot. I do. If you're in that Notre Dame locker room, you're questioning your coaching staff right now. And that's a tough place to be heading out on the road against a good Duke team. On paper, they're not as talented. They're not as physically gifted as Notre Dame. This is a good team. They perform well, and they're smart kids, right? You know, and you trust them. They're not going to beat themselves for the most part. It's been dissected to death, so I don't need to do it. You know, far be it from us to go Lou Holtz, Ryan Day on all this stuff, but Notre Dame's coaching staff really, really cost them last week, and I think that's a hard thing to get over. I really do. So I would question that. if you make me, I'd probably go Notre Dame. Just for everything I said, they're a better team, but I'm not sold on this Notre Dame team. Certainly not nearly as enthusiastic as you are, Jackson.
I didn't know you were actually a Notre Dame fan until we were texting back and forth last week, and apparently I ticked you off because I was celebrating.
Upset. Very upset.
I tweeted this out last week or X'd it out, whatever. I used the picture of the Dos Equis guy, which is was a great title sponsor of our show a couple years ago, Mike Gross. But the Dos Equis guy saying, I don't usually root for Ohio State, but when I do, it's because they're playing Notre Dame, because I can't stand Notre Dame. Worst fans in all sports. So give me Duke, baby. Let's go, Dukies. Are you serious?
Jackson, you played college football, and you know these things. I can see once in a while you see it happen where a guy's rushing on the field late because he missed the whatever defense they're calling, or maybe how do you let it happen in that situation? Twice in a row.
So great.
No, honestly, the thing was, too, I understand what Marcus Freeman the first time, it's like, okay, you got to get it changed. And the worst part is they called a timeout in between to get things rolling. But I think they realize if they were to have someone over there to rush on the field, it'd be a free play regardless. Ohio State would have had another opportunity. Again, one of those mistakes that we'll see if Notre Dame can adjust today. And Marcus Freeman said they've got a new signal now, so when that happens again, they can tell the quarterback to get off sides or push the receiver or whatever. But yeah, inexcusable there from Notre Dame. I hope they can bounce back. But again, Riley Leonard and this Duke team, very smart team, obviously being from Duke. So very fun game to watch.
A game that nobody else is going to talk about, but you know me and my weirdness on stuff like this. Michigan State and Iowa played today in Iowa City.
No, what's the under?
The point total,
hammer. That's your lock today. It's got to be
36.5 is the point. 36.5. Like, take that, USC and Colorado. 36.5 between Michigan State and Iowa. Iowa, man, I can't. Every year I beat this drum. Iowa, okay, so what? You beat Northern Iowa. You beat some team from the MAC, and you happen to beat Iowa State this year. And you go get boat raced by Penn State 31-0. You don't put any points on the board the first time you're playing a meaningful game this year. Michigan State isn't very good. Michigan State's dealing with a lot of headaches and trauma and drama with their head coach, and they weren't very good to begin with, and you mix this in. So I'm not saying that Iowa's going to lose this game at home, but their offense is miserable, and take the under.
So what's interesting about Iowa, it's totally off the cuff about sports betting, but we always talk about how the offensive coordinator is terrible in Iowa. He's the son of the head coach there in Iowa.
Nepotism.
With AI being the new thing out right now, there's been fans creating videos of the offensive coordinator saying like rude stuff at a press conference, but it's an AI version of him. It came out, people thought it was actually him at first, trying to get him fired, but then turns out it was actually an AI version. So it's crazy.
Whoa.
The world 2023. I don't even know if it made sense, but the AI, yeah. But Iowa, we'll see. I mean, obviously the blowout last week was a tough loss for Iowa.
And I think, the frustrating thing is, it's a known issue. The AI issue, the comments taken.
Deep fakes.
The deep fake stuff, forget that. The proof is in the pudding. Watch the team every week. Watch what they do or don't do. I mean, they got the transfer in from Michigan. Doesn't seem to make a difference.
I want to ask you that. Like, I want to, Kate McNamara, obviously, that, is the guy you're talking about. I want to ask you, is it good that the Hawkeyes only had 76 yards? Is that good for an offense to only have 76 yards, or is that
total offense?
Total offense. Last week, they were outgained 397 to 76 last week.
That's 76 is a scoring drive for most teams.
They had 76 yards. Penn State ran 97 plays.
Wow.
Iowa only had 33 plays from scrimmage last week.
Yeah, no.
That is
to answer that question.
Iowa.
No, the total offense you're looking for, at least that's decent, would probably be 300, 250 to 300. As you can equal it out.
76 is less than that, so that's not good.
No bueno.
Oh,
there.
Okay.
No bueno there,
Okay.
Mr. Bauer, sir.
All right, see, I'm not good at math, and I was just like, all right, 97. Or I'm sorry, 76
gotcha.
seems like a piss poor offensive output.
Penn State had scoring drives longer than that in that game. So
real quickly,
yes.
One more game I wanted to get your guys' opinion on. South Carolina at 21 Tennessee. Spencer Rattler leading the charge at South Carolina. Joe Milton struggled against Florida. Can they bounce back? Favored by 12.5 here. What do you guys like in that one?
I don't know. Spencer Rattler gets the attention, right? You know,
he's having a good year, but his offensive line is terrible.
His offensive line is terrible. You know, Tennessee. Yeah, it's mine.
Being at home, Neyland's kind of a tough place to play.
Can I take Tennessee on the money line? Can I just be a lazy bum and be like, yeah, give me like minus 450 on the money line there?
How's that?
Tennessee at Neyland. It's a very, very tough place to play. They love them some Rocky Top. The one song they play, which is just like going to USC. But hey, you got 100,000 plus there in Knoxville. They're going to absolutely represent. I would lean Tennessee in this one because they're the home team. Although against the spread, they're just 1-2 this year, and I don't like that.
All right, that's going to do it for this segment. We're going to step aside, get our picks locked in, find Casey, get his headset on. Picks of the week on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Check this out.
This is The Herd.
You're excited. I'm excited.
With Colin Cowherd.
Trayvon Diggs, the great corner for the Cowboys, out for the season. Defense wasn't as aggressive. Dak Prescott had to play on the road and trailed. He was just ordinary, mostly. And Mike McCarthy's coaching is always up for debate.
This is The Herd. Monday at 10. Tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
Got the urge to pick games each week? Thursday, Sunday, even Mondays? Then sign up now for the Twin Peaks Fan Pick'em, courtesy of Blue Moon and Coors Light. It's totally free to play. Head to fanpick'em.com. That's fanpick'em.com.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Jenny!
Hey, Jenny!
Jenny, come on in! Steve! Yes, I am.
Steve,
how you doing?
Meg!
Meg, nice to see you! Hey, Meg!
Arena Sports Grill. Come on out for the sports, off-track betting, incredible food, and friendly faces. The best daily specials in Scottsdale. Arena Sports Grill, 62nd Street in Bell. We know you.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident again. Pretty confident.
To Mountain America Stadium to take on the Coach Prime-led Colorado Buffaloes Saturday, October 7th for ASU's Hall of Fame.
Tomorrow afternoon.
An incredible class of Sun Devil legends will be honored at halftime for their
We're gonna have the game on, man.
Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame, including Phoenix area product and NFL veteran Sean
Do a
McDonald.
dual screen experience. I'll have the Rams on my TV, WNBA on my laptop,
0000 or go on
Red Zone on my phone.
SunDevilTickets.com.
Escape the scorching heat and get indoors at Putting World's 18-hole putting experience. Stay cool while mastering the greens and having a blast with family and friends. Visit Putting World today.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Barbecue tip number 3 from Roland Dickey. Texas brisket, hot and fast or low and slow. Roland taught us to smoke our brisket at 225 for 12 to 14 hours. Don't be the 7-layer dip guy. Game day and cold beer needs tender, juicy barbecue. Dickey's XL pack features 3 pounds of meat, 4 large sides, and all the fixins. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
Yeah!
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Time for the best bets, locks, and daily wager picks, courtesy of the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Now joining the guys is CAZ Sportsbook expert Casey Walsh.
From Boston.
Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Anything possible!
I think that's like a 1 and 1A intro from Marco at 11:30, and then
Man, whoever created that intro is just absolutely the most creative, smart individual ever. I don't know who created that, but just amazing. Sorry.
There you go. Casey, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
We are good. We're always have a good Saturday when we're out here. Good football already. Lots still to come today, and it seems deeper we get into football season. Crowds just congregate, get here early, and stay all day.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love Saturdays because you got games all day, early in the morning from 9 in the morning till 11 at night. So it's packed all day, and then NFL is really busy in the mornings on Sundays.
Do you have like regulars? Do you know certain people by first names here?
Oh, tons of them, tons of people.
That's awesome. All right, we got to ask you. We don't have this as our picks before we jump into it. What's the vibe? What's the feel around the sportsbook here with the Arizona Diamondbacks? 2 regular season games remaining. It looks like they're not, but man, the numbers are in their favor. How's the betting public handling the Arizona Diamondbacks these days?
Yeah, they've been betting the Diamondbacks again, getting into the postseason. There's not as much interest in baseball right now, but with the weekend series, with having meaning to them, we're actually seeing baseball action come in. So far last night, everybody bet on Gallon, so that was a win for the book overall last night.
There we go.
So let's talk Colorado. Colorado just lost by 7, but they covered. Where was the action on Colorado USC?
Most of our sharper bettors were all on USC. Oh. Betting public was all on Colorado again.
Oh,
that's exactly what Marco said.
So overall, for start the day off right, the public's ahead of us so far today.
There we go.
So you look at the afternoon games for college. Was there a specific bet, or maybe towards Arizona or Arizona State, that you got some action on in these afternoon games?
Just a little bit here and there. We actually have quite a bit of money on Purdue, the Purdue-Illinois game, with people taking Illinois. Wow. Another game that we've seen quite a bit of action on is Troy plus the 1 today against Georgia State.
Wow. Talk about
the fun
games
belt.
That we haven't yeah.
The fun belt.
Before we do our picks, there's a guy, he's been there all morning sitting there in an Iowa Hawkeyes hat and shirt. He didn't think it was funny when I went up to him and I said, hope you took the under today.
Yeah.
Iowa fans are a little touchy about their bad offense. But do you get a lot of Midwestern transplants come in and bet the Hawkeyes, bet the Cornhuskers?
Yeah, very, very big. Tons of Midwest that come in to do it. Yeah.
All right, let's get into our picks, Casey, as we bring on Bauer as well. Our picks here last week was a tough week for all of us. We bounced back this week because we're all here together. So, first one.
Thanks, Coach.
I just saw that Bauer on the dock. That was funny. All right, Notre Dame at Duke. Number 11, Notre Dame goes to Durham, 17 Duke. Notre Dame favored by 5.5 points here. Casey, who do you like in this one?
5.
Notre Dame fan, but I'm taking Duke in the points.
Okay, you're not a loyal fan if you're doing that, but again,
I'm
think Notre Dame's going to win. Okay,
I'm about cashing tickets.
I think Notre Dame 5.5. I said it earlier. I like this team. They're pissed off. Feed Audric Estime. Give me them 5.5.
I'm not confident, but I'm going to take Notre Dame 5.5. I really think there's questions in the locker room about the way that game ended a week ago. They should have won that game, and it wasn't players dropping the ball on that one. It was the coaching staff let that team down. Can they overcome that? I think they do, but it's not a confident bet that I'm making.
All right, we're going to the NFL side of it. Probably the best NFL game early in the morning. Thank you, CBS, for having this one early. The Dolphins on the road at the Buffalo Bills. Bills favored by 2.5 points. Over-unders at 53.5. Casey,
I'm going to go with the Bills in this game just off the purpose of everybody saw what the Dolphins did last week. I feel everybody's going to jump on the Dolphins getting the points, so might as well bet against the people. I'll go with the Bills.
I'm going to go Dolphins with the points. I love what they're doing offensively. It's going to be tough for the Bills to stop, and with Poyer out, their stud safety, we might see DeMar Hamlin, which would be cool to see there at Buffalo, but I like the Dolphins plus 2.5.
Bauer and I both have the Bills minus 2.5. I think that the Dolphins are still tired from last week. I think that They just gassed themselves, running up and down the field, scoring 70 points in an NFL game, which is unheard of. So they're a little tired going on the road. Make it Bills 2.5.
The last one, we're going to the NFL, where we're going to stay locally. The Arizona Cardinals, undefeated on the season against the spread. Obviously, not in the season, but against the spread. Going on the road at the 49ers, who are actually undefeated for the season, not undefeated for the spread for them. 14 points, favored by San Francisco. The over-under's at 43.5. What do you like, Casey?
I'm going to take the under in this game.
Ooh. I'm going Cardinals to cover. I did it last week, and I ended up winning that one, so I'm going to go once again. They're undefeated against the spread. 14.5 actually is a lot of points there, Gross.
Bauer goes with Casey. He's got the under on that one. I like the 49ers, 14.5. Look, I think the bubble finally burst. Cardinals have outperformed, even though they're 1-2. You look at their number against the spread the first couple weeks, I think that comes to an end. 14.5 is a big number. Doesn't worry me. I like the under as well in this game, but I don't see the Cardinals scoring more than 10 or 13 points tomorrow against a really, really good 49ers defense. All right, it's time. It's our time for Lock of the Weeks.
It's time for Take the Points to give you their locks for the weekend. Live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Okay, gambling degenerates, what are your locks? By the way, you better be gambling responsibly.
Taylor Swift is at the game tomorrow night with the Jets. I'm going Chiefs minus 8.5 and Travis Kelce to have a touchdown. Those are my locks of the weekend. Hammer it.
Jackson, I knew you were trouble when you wanted to go first.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. That's a Taylor Swift song. I thought you were going to say
I modified it, but, give me. The fact that I got it, give me something.
No bad blood on this show.
Oh, sorry. Here we go. It's spiraling out of control. Casey, what do you got?
I'm actually going to go to Monday night. I'm going to take the Seahawks minus the 1.5, whatever it is.
1.5.
I like that pick. I'm going. Sorry, Jackson. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I like Washington. 19 points doesn't scare. Arizona just whatever they were last weekend, they struggled to beat a bad Stanford team, and now their quarterback is questionable. 19, Washington's there to make a statement. I like the Huskies. 19 points isn't too much. I think they win by 24 points. Bauer has the Bills as his lock of the week, minus the 2.5. And now everybody else take a seat. This is where the real money is made on this show. This is where we all stop talking and let Richie come in and share with the betting public his lock of the week this week.
Back to the WNBA, fellas. Back to the WNBA. Game number 4 in the New York Liberty Connecticut Sun semifinals of the WNBA playoffs. Liberty are 5-point favorites. Give me the Libs, baby. I'm riding with Stewie. I'm riding with the New York Liberty to go back to the WNBA finals this year and take on the Las Vegas Aces, who advanced last night. Little fun fact, 8 games this year between the Liberty and the Connecticut Sun. The Liberty have won 6 of those 8 games by 5 or more points. So this is lock it down, baby. Take it to the window. Take it to the window, Jax. Come on, buddy.
Hey, it's WNBA season in Richie's world, and I'm loving it. I wasn't yawning at Richie. I was just yawning at the sport of the WNBA.
Richie, wherever you go, I go, my friend.
Love it,
so,
Richie.
we are all in on the New York Liberty minus 5. Casey, I'll see you in about 15 minutes at the window.
I'll be ready.
That's going to do it for our picks of the week. Casey, always good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Come out, see Casey. They are here all day, not 24/7, but when the games start, all the way till when they end. And if you got a winning ticket and they're not here, don't worry about it. Take it to any window here at the casino.
Guys, we haven't all been together in like a month. This was fun. Great show. Good to see you guys as always.
Kumbaya. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you.
Don't forget, Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B, Monday through Friday, 1 to 4, right here on the station. Monday night here at CAZ Sportsbook for your chance to win cash just for watching football. For Bauer, for Jackson, I'm Mike Gross. We'll see you next Saturday on Fox Sports 910.